It's Freestyle Friday.
Coming in hot with quick shots of inspiration on a variety of topics.
Ooh, today's going to be a good little quickie on how we started getting magnetic and how you could start your own podcast.
Yes, we have the privilege today of interviewing our producer, Chase Mitchell. But before we do, I know we've shared it before, but let's just share quick. How did Getting Magnetic come to be?
So Getting Magnetic was basically a dream. Wade and I both wanted to start a podcast, but it was just overwhelming to think about how do we do that? Where do we start? How would we edit it? How do you get it on all these platforms? Who would listen? What if it doesn't hit right? Like, I don't know, all the what ifs. And literally, I get a DM one day on Instagram. He slid into my DMs and said, have you ever thought about starting a podcast? I think you and Wade would be naturals. I would help with all the technical side, all the back end stuff. You just need to come up with the content. And I was like, whoa, ask and it is given. I put it out there and it is happening. So we had a conversation and we literally picked a launch date and we were like, let's freaking go with this. So with that said, we'd love to introduce you to CEO of Upstarter Pods. This is Chase Mitchell. Welcome, Chase.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. It's fun to be on this side of the mic.
Yeah, right. Chase usually gets to be on the other end of all the interviews and of all the podcasts, which I think is so awesome. So can relate to everyone out there listening now. But we wanted to invite Chase on because one, we work closely with Chase on this podcast, but also see the vision for what he's building. And it just, one, we're proud of him, but two, we stand behind like what he's looking to do in the world. And we're super excited for it. And I kind of want to get into that. So like Sandy mentioned, Chase reached out to us, and we're here right now recording because Chase was brave, courageous, whatever, took that step to reach out and say, hey, I think you guys have a message to share. Have you ever thought about starting a podcast? Little did he know we had years of thinking about it, but didn't take action on it because of the resistance to the production and tech side. Boom, Chase comes in, entrepreneurs are professional problem solvers. He comes in, I can solve your problem. I think you'd have an epic show. And now it came to be. So with that said too, he started his own podcast network, like Sandy mentioned, the Upstarter Podcast Network. What are you looking, Chase, first actually give us that quick hit elevator pitch intro about yourself. And then I want to hear what made you start Upstarter Podcast Network.
Yeah. So a little bit about me, I guess. Pretty simple, went to college for something that I'm not doing and graduated. And suddenly, we're in the pandemic and I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit, that entrepreneurial mindset. And I was trying to figure out, how can I make a business out of my skills, interests, passions, and realize, I have this love for podcasts and I've been a big podcast fan for years. I love, personal development and positivity and working with people. And, how can I turn that into a business? And I have the technical, know-how as a young millennial to do all of those things and have always thought, making a business is like trying to find a solution, find a problem and solve it for people. And that's how you can get paid, right? So during the pandemic, obviously had a lot of time on my hands and have kind of just slowly put those few things together as friends of mine and some other connections that I had wanted to get started with podcasts. I just started helping them. And like you guys said in a few episodes ago with Ashley, just be doers. And so I just started doing and learning and taking it up on myself to figuring out how to do it and then figure out who do I want to do it with. And so then I started asking myself, who are my dream clients? Who do I want to work with? And what is the message that I want to spread? And so the message that I realized I want to put out into the world is that message of entrepreneurship and young personal development and empowering other people through those positive voices. And so I was able to find my dream clients, you guys and so many others, by finding that message, which is what you guys are all about. And so having you guys basically be that light that I'm helping project without, me being the one, being the face, being the voice, and being, more the background behind the scenes guy that allows you to spread that message even further. And so that's kind of how it started. I love, that your guys' title is Getting Magnetic, because it kind of just did happened that way. We kind of just did get magnetic toward each other, and it's just kind of taken off from there.
So
Amazing.
good. It's funny too. We were going to actually name this the Sandy and Wade Show. Do you remember that?
I do.
But then someone was like, wait, that's great for people that know you, because like you guys are the Sandy and Wade Show, but like for people that don't know you, like you can't have you could have your name in it, but it needs to be more like catchy. And so we were with our friend Jackie Metzler actually, and she was like, make a list.
Shout out Jackie.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast, think about like what is a name or something that's like resonates with you. And we feel like everything in our life, like we are so about like what you think about, you bring about, and what you put out there is what you attract. And we're all about like energy and magnetism, and just so believing that like how you show up is what you receive, right? And so Getting Magnetic was created by Jackie. She was like, Getting Magnetic. I was like, oh my gosh, that is the name of it.
Yes.
Let's roll with this. Let's go. But I would come up with a list of like certain names or words that inspire you.
Yeah,
and
I think
how that connects to your bigger message.
I think we're going to get into how to, if there's a podcast on your heart, how to start one, how to just start. But I think what Chase had a few hidden gems in there for aspiring or current entrepreneurs. One, he thought about like, what do I like? What do I want to do? What is my dream? It was super empowering that his dream is different than other people's dreams. We all have different dreams, right? His dream wasn't to start a podcast, but it was to empower voices of people that he thought had maybe a message to share, wanted to share it, wanted to start a podcast. And like, so how cool is that? His impact is exponential because he's projecting these voices onto platforms that can reach thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. And that's pretty amazing. So he thought about, what do I like? What do I want to do? Then he just started doing it. Then he just started reaching out. Then he thought about, who's my ideal client? Who do I want to work with? Not just like anyone with a pulse, like who wants to start a podcast? Like, no, who do I want to work with? I'm going to, one, get clear on that. And then two, I'm going to go after that and get magnetic to it. And then three, you know what Chase did when he reached out? He said, let's get your podcast launched. I'll help you launch it. And this was when he was just starting in the infancy stages. It's called kind of an anchor client strategy. Let me find an anchor client. Let me add so much value to them for free that they have no other option than to be like, heck yeah, we can't do this without you. I want to work with you. So Chase is like, I'll help you launch for free. Well, then we'll go from there. And we were like, okay, we can launch this for free. So Chase, one, props to you on that. I give you a lot of credit for being a young millennial CEO and entrepreneur, but really being wise in how you navigate your business. So for those people that want to start a podcast, let's go high level through like, what are just the ways to do that? Like, where do you start and what are those steps? And like, I think it's a lot simpler and easier than people think.
Yeah, I agree. It is a lot easier than people think. I think there's different levels of a podcast, obviously, that you can go into, but the super high level kind of beginner view on it is if you have a message that you want to spread, then you just kind of have to come up with some of the content. What is your message? What is the value that you are going to give to your audience? And why should they listen to your show? You know, what's unique about it? Why should they listen? Why should they share it out? And then from there, you can start to figure out a little bit about the structure and the goals and how you might want to go forward with it. But that's really the first step, is asking, why do you want to start a podcast? And what is the message that you want to share? If you have a message, then you can have a podcast. From there, we can go into some of the basic, structured details there.
I love that. Wait, pause. So for those like note takers, okay, start with why. Why do you want to start? And then what? What's your message? So boom. Once we get that, okay, where do we go from there structure wise?
And then who is your audience and stuff like that, right? So in terms of structure, you don't need all the fancy equipment. You don't need all the super expensive software, and you don't need a whole team. If you want to start a podcast on your own, it's very possible. You can get a USB mic that plugs directly into your computer that provides great audio. You can get free digital audio workstations, a little DAW on your computer, which would be GarageBand or Audacity or anything like that. And that's where you'll record all of your content. And those are fairly user-friendly and pretty easy to maneuver around. You just plug your mic in and you can basically just start recording and have all the files right there. From then, you can have a free hosting account site through Anchor. That's a really user-friendly way to distribute your show out. And they'll do the automatic distribution to Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Google, all the places that have a podcast. you throw your account or your podcast onto Anchor, and they can kind of do all of that for you. So that's super simple. That's your whole show right there. Now, all you have to do is really record the content, market it a little bit with social media, and there's your show. Obviously, there's more steps that can go into it if you want to get more advanced in terms of inviting guests and having on intros and outros and ads and all those things. But if you just have this idea on your heart and this vision and you want to create a podcast, you can do it in a day. It won't be that difficult. Anyone can do it.
I love that. That's empowering. And we know a bunch of people actually that have podcasts that did just that, just decided, this is why I'm doing it. This is what I want to do. This is who my avatar listener is. This is who I'm speaking to. I've even seen people like, I'd have AirPods or, wired headphones and GarageBand on my MacBook. Boom, I'm starting a podcast. And so it is as elementary as that. So you can literally start like that. Let's say someone's out there like Sandy and I, we're delegators. We're like, ooh, we don't want to do all the technical stuff. And so we want to work with someone like Chase. So what's that next level? Like how do you come into play, and what value kind of does Upstarter Podcast Network add?
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to have a show and not have to worry about any of the technical details, you basically want to come on Zoom or Squadcast or in person or whatever, just press record and, say your content, then that's basically what we do, is allow you to do that. We take care of all of the files, all of the distribution, the editing, obviously all the professional mixing and mastering of the audio files to make sure we've got your intro, your ads, your different cuts, and all those different segments in place. And then there's a lot of different management tools that we can use too, such as like making sure that we're on top of your show notes, making sure that we're getting the right guests, getting you booked onto other shows is a new thing that we've launched here as well. That's one of the best ways to grow your show, through, getting in front of other engaged audiences on other podcasts. But then also handling, social media assets and getting you guys audio clips for your episodes. That way you can market it. So essentially everything other than creating the content. So that way you guys have more freedom, more time to do everything else that you guys enjoy doing. And all you have to do for the podcast is come and record.
The best analogy I can use, and just now that we've been doing it for 6 months, is for those of you that have seen Entourage, you get to just be Vince, right? You're the talent. You come on and record and put your message out there. You're the brand. And Chase and Upstarter Podcast Network in total is E and Ari, and honestly everyone else, and Turtle and Drum, but mostly E and Ari probably, where they go and handle, okay, I'm going to make sure the logistics are right. I'm going to make sure it gets produced. I'm going to make sure it gets out there. We're going to work towards marketing. We're going to, connect with advertising people. We're like all that stuff. Like, so you get to go be Vince, and E and Ari and the Upstarter team handles the rest of it. Would you say that's true?
We'll see how many people get that reference, but I love it. I think that that's pretty accurate. A combination of E and Ari is definitely kind of in my wheelhouse there.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, for people that didn't get the reference, you basically are the movie star, and then Upstarter Podcast is your team of like agency network, where they go do all the agent work, and you get to go record. You organically, you post it to social media, you work on marketing too, but that's kind of it. So, okay. So that is like next level looking to work with you. To wrap it up, what's Upstarter Podcast mission? What's your vision for Upstarter Podcast Network?
Yeah. So why I created this company, and not just as like a freelance editor, I wanted to create it to empower a collection of voices like yourselves to, spread positivity out into the world, spread this really great knowledge, inspiration, motivation to other young entrepreneurs, and continue to spread that light to thousands of people and eventually millions of people. And so I just want to be able to empower you guys and allow you guys to be able to do that to the fullest extent. And then we've created Upstarter really with the mission in mind of helping a lot of people, making a lot of money, and having a lot of fun. And that's something I got from one of my digital mentors, David Meltzer, at a speech that I heard him say at Occidental College, where I and him also went to school. And so since then, about 6 years ago, I've kind of held on to that. And I've always kept that in front of mind. And how can I help a lot of people, make a lot of money, have a lot of fun?
Ooh.
And that's what I think Upstarter is really all about.
I love it. That's what we're all here to do.
That's
right?
fire. Like, yeah.
So Chase, how can people connect with you? What's your website? What's the best way for people to move forward or inquire and see if it's a good fit for you guys to work together?
Yeah, you could message me or check me out at Upstarter Pods on Instagram. You can go to upstarterpods.com, check out all the more information. If you're interested in launching your own show or have it be produced and managed or just get booked on other shows, we can do consultations, or you can just sign up for a free consult and we can talk about, what's the right move for you.
I love that. So whether you are thinking about it, you can connect with Chase. Whether you want to just do it on your own, I know you have resources there as far as launch courses, or you want to, full scale, hire the E or hire the agent to really help you take this where you want it to go. Chase is there for all of it. Appreciate everything you do and the light that you are in the world, Chase. Thank you for helping us spread our message. And I think that's it. That's a wrap, right?
We're really grateful for you.
I appreciate you guys too. I'll go ahead and start editing this.
Yes, perfect. All right, later. Only those that can see the invisible can do the impossible.
So remember, you are magnetic.